The Third Testament, Revelations of Jesus Christ, Chapter 25, Nature. The laws of nature. Thus saith the Lord, I have taught you to see God as all, as the limitless marvel for your mental conception, as the prime mover of all movement and action in the universe, as life which manifests itself as much in a simple plant as in those worlds that spin by the millions in space, without any of them disobeying the law that governed them. That law is I, your God. It is the law of continual evolution at which man marvels, giving him broad fields for the research that permits him to continue penetrating the secrets of nature. Understand that the law is the path devised by the love of the Supreme Creator to guide each one of his creatures. Meditate upon the life that surrounds you, composed of an infinite number of elements and organisms, and you will end up discovering that each body and each being proceed along a path, a trajectory guided by a force apparently strange and mysterious. That force is the law that God has decreed to each one of his creatures. On analyzing these teachings, you will conclude by understanding that truly everything lives, moves, and grows under a supreme mandate. The presence of God in nature. Seek my presence in the works carried out by me, and at every step you will find me. Try to hear me, and you will hear me in the potent voice that arises from all created. For I find no difficulty in manifesting myself through the beings of creation. I manifest myself in a star, or in the fury of a storm, as much as in the sweet light of the dawn. I make my voice heard in the melodious song of a bird, just as I express it in the aroma of flowers. And every expression of mine, each phrase, each work speaks to you of love, of the fulfillment of my laws of justice and wisdom, and of the eternity of the Spirit. Nature is a creation of God, and a parable for the spiritual. Many have made of nature their God, exalting it as a divine fountain of all that exists. But in truth, I say to you that this nature, from whose bosom have emerged all beings, the forces and material elements which surround you, is not herself creator. It was conceived and created before the divine Maker. It is not the cause nor the reason for life. Only I, your Father, am the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega. All that surrounds and envelopes you in this life is an image of the eternal life, a profound lesson explained through material forms and objects, so that it may be understood. You have not yet plumbed the depth of this marvelous lesson, and men have again erred, for they have taken the life they live on earth as though it were eternity. They have been content to take from it its forms, renouncing all that is contained in this divine revelation, the essence and truth that is found in all creation. I do not come to deprive you of anything that I have placed in nature for the protection, health, sustenance, welfare, and joy of my children. Rather, I tell you that just as I offer the bread of the Spirit and invite you to breathe in and saturate yourself with spiritual emanations, do not ignore nor distance yourselves from all that nature offers you, for thereby you achieve harmony, health, and energy, and through them the complete fulfillment of the laws of life. The irrational beings are guided by instinct, which is its interior voice, its master, its guide. It is like a light that proceeds from its mother nature, and that lights the path that it must travel in life. A path that has also struggles and risks. From them take the harmony that each species lives with. Imitate the activity of those that are active. Take their examples of fidelity or of gratitude. They are examples that contain divine wisdom, because they are creatures of mine, who have also sprung from me to surround and accompany you in your world, and to participate in what I have placed on earth. the power of the children of God over nature. The elements will obey you when you comply with my law, and when you ask it of me for the benefit of your brethren. Have I not taught you that even the unleashed elements can hear your prayer and become calm? If those elements obey my voice, why should they not obey the voice of the children of the Lord when they have become prepared? I have given the Spirit power over the material world, so that it may overcome the trials and come to its destination. The struggle will be great, however, for since man has established on earth the only kingdom in which he believes, he has broken the harmony that ought to exist between him and that which surrounds him. From his proud throne, he has wanted to submit all things to the power of his science, and impose his will over the elements and natural forces. But he has not accomplished this, because long ago he broke his ties of friendship with the spiritual laws. Now, when I have told this people that the elements may obey them, there have been those who have not believed. And I say that they have had the reason to doubt. For nature will never obey those who do not recognize it, and who profane and mock it. But he who knows how to live in accord with the laws of the spirit and matter, who lives in harmony with all that surrounds him, will identify himself with his Creator, making himself worthy of being served and obeyed by the elements, as corresponds to all children who know to obey their Father, the Creator of all that exists. I neither lie nor exaggerate when I tell you that the elements can hear your voice and respect and obey you. The history of Israel was written as a testimony to my truth, and in it you can find that time and again the people of God were recognized and respected by the forces and elements of nature. Why should you not be the same? By any chance, do you believe that my power or my love for humanity has varied with the passage of time? No, you multitudes that hear this word. The light of my spirit bathes you. My power and my love are eternal and unchanging. Man and nature. But you must take care, O peoples of the earth. For if you continue to make use of my divine lessons to provoke the elements, if you apply the limited knowledge that you have toward evil, you will receive, when you least expect it, the painful and just response. You provoke the wind, the fire, the earth, the water, and all forces. You are well aware of what your harvest will be if you do not correct your activities in time, and be able to stop the elements, unleashed because of your foolishness. I warn you that you are reaching the limit that my justice permits of your free will. You are greatly provoking nature, and since you are like children who feel themselves superior, this word comes as a warning of the danger in which you find yourselves. I told you that the leaf of the tree did not move without my will, and now I say to you that none of the elements obey any other will but mine. I also say to you that nature can be to men what they wish it to be, a mother endowed with blessings, with caresses and nourishment, or an arid desert where hunger and thirst reign. It can be either a teacher of wise and infinite revelations about life, goodness, love, and eternity, or an unyielding judge in the face of profanation, disobedience, and the errors of men. Blessing them, I said to the first man, "Be fruitful, multiply and fill the earth, conquer it, and rule over the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, and over all creatures that move on the face of the earth." Yes, humanity, I created man so that he would be master and would have power over space, over waters, over all the earth, and the elements of creation. But behold, I have emphasized the term master because men, believing they rule the earth with their science, are truly slaves, believing they dominate the forces of nature, become victims of their recklessness, ignorance, and lack of preparation. Human power and science have invaded the earth, the seas, and space, but their power and force are not in harmony with the power and force of nature, which express God's divine love and are life, wisdom, harmony, and perfection, whereas human power, science, and their deeds are only filled with pride, selfishness, vanity, and wickedness. Do you see the unbalancing of the elements of nature and the twisting they have suffered? Do you realize how you are touched by the unleashed forces? It is because you have broken the harmony that exists between the spiritual and material lives, provoking thereby the chaos into which you are sinking. But when humanity is obedient to the laws that govern life, all will return to peace, abundance, and happiness. How could your works on earth be perfect when I see you hostile to the very elements of nature from which you take life? My doctrine does not come to prohibit that you use the elements and forces of nature, but comes to regulate and teach you to employ them for worthy ends. The elements of nature in your hands can change, from friends and brothers to judges who punish you severely. It is time that men harvest the fruit of experience in order to not further provoke the force of the elements, for with all their science, they will not be able to contain them. The tree of science shall be shaken by the fury of the hurricane, and its fruits shall fall upon mankind. And who is it that has unchained the elements, if not man? It is well that the first beings knew pain in order to awaken them to reality, to be born to the light of the conscience, and conform themselves to a law. But why do the evolved, conscious, and developed men of this time dare to profane the tree of life? To those who think that I punish men by unleashing the elements of nature upon them, I say that they commit a grave error in thinking thus. For nature evolves and is transformed, and in its changes or transition upheavals occur that which produces suffering to you when you do not comply with the law, though you attribute it to divine punishment. Truly, within it is my justice. Yet if you, privileged beings containing a spark of the divine that illuminates your spirit, lived in harmony with the nature that surrounds you, your spirit would maintain you elevated above its changes, above the force of the elements, and you would not suffer. What is nature if not a large creature? Yes, disciples, a creature who also evolves, purifies, develops, and perfects itself for the purpose of sheltering the men of tomorrow in its bosom. How many times have you resented its natural transitions for reaching that perfection and attributed it to the punishments of God, not realizing that together with nature and creation, you purify, evolve, and walk toward perfection?